Hey.
Why did I say I feel so stupid? What is this? The club?
What?
Woot, woot, woot. So hi. Hello again, Sage.
Oh, hey, dreamer.
Oh, oh, hey, dreamer. So we have the Era of the Dreamers podcast, which we started. We already have two awesome episodes. Go check them out. We decided to create an additional bonus content situation all about the journals because we realized that Sage and I have a lot of things we want to discuss. And so we basically, as an excuse to spend more time together, we thought, well, let's just keep the camera rolling and bring our friends for the crazy ride.
Let's go.
And earlier this week, we had started recording something about our journals, and then part of it didn't get recorded. It was a whole personal growth lesson for both of us in patience and understanding.
So,
So here we are.
take two.
Take two. So this will live as an added because as an sort of added part of the parallel journey to the podcast and whatever other content we make, which we're still coming up with.
Mhm.
Um, and uh, the journal is a big part of how we've chosen to show up and reconnect with ourselves, part of this whole era of the dreamers idea that we're living in, that we started in that workshop way back on January 11th, a day that changed everything. And I can't believe that was only 2 weeks ago. That's
Wow.
it. When I tell you,
Whoa.
whoa,
I know, I feel like, whoa, did we just get dropped in a time portal? Like it feels like we've been doing this way longer.
yes, it was 2 weeks ago. Check me on this.
Check you.
Check, checks. Yeah. So it was January 11th and today's the 26th, 2 weeks and a day.
Dang.
When
Okay.
when we
Wow.
tell you, friends, talk about stepping into some sort of quantum accelerated growth program. Let me tell you something else. You cannot buy anything. You cannot buy this from any coach or teacher or guru.
No,
This is what happens when you are, well, how is this happening? You tell us, Sage.
no, no pressure.
No pressure.
Explain
You
this
explain
one.
the whole thing. Go
Look,
ahead.
look, all I know is that I had this vision, and then you said, "Whoa, I had this other idea," and there's a journal, and then we said 111. In all seriousness, we created this very organically.
Yeah.
Like it
Over
wasn't,
the holidays,
yeah, super fast. It
super
was like,
fun, super organic. Yes.
this feels good, that feels good. Let's do this. Cool. Okay. We stayed connected. We both created our own pieces. We wove them together. And then it was like we crafted a magical key and then we unlocked some kind of portal, treasure chest, door within a tree. I don't know what happened. I don't. It's like we got abducted and then dropped back off and it's like I am not the same person now.
This is real. None of this is over dramatized.
No,
No, like this is
I mean, it almost like I really just wanted the things that I want to say. I feel like somebody's gonna listen and be like, "Oh, she's off her rocker, bless her."
Mhm.
But I really do feel like because I went all in, I was like, because when I do something, any kind of workshop, whether I am hosting it or I'm doing it with someone else, like the beauty of co-facilitating this workshop with you was I got to drop in on those moments that you were leading, right? Like I got to
Mhm.
really drop in and then shift and be like, okay, this
You
is
mean
my
as
part.
we're doing the workshop? I thought you were talking about the pre, like in the workshop. Yes.
My name is Sage. I overcomplicate things. Um, I'm so excited.
That should definitely be a t-shirt, a custom personalized t-shirt.
I over explain, I
Hmm.
overcomplicate.
Hmm.
I like coffee. And but it was a beautiful rhythm because I got to drop in and just be like the student, the participant
Hmm.
we're leading, and then shift over when it was time for me to do my stuff. And I really received so much from that experience, but
Yeah.
it kept unpacking itself afterwards. And that's when I was like, whoa, what did we just create, unleash here? Because it just kept opening and opening. And that was my little old silly experience. How about you?
Yeah. Just, just opening portals here, other dimensions,
It's
just another
magical to
day in the
you.
life. I mean, first the context of my life, right? Like I had consciously decided to take some time off. I called it my semi sabbatical, and I was going to really take some like only do the things that I found like incredibly delicious that really filled me and that didn't feel like a lot of work, which my job never felt like a lot of work. But I had to like, sort of tend to myself. I realized at the beginning of this year. So didn't have any grand plans for anything. It was really just like I'm going to listen and whatever reveals itself will, which is part of the teaching of this whole era of Pisces and era of the dreamers is that the things that happen this year may not all feel probably the plans will fall apart and other things will be revealed
Yeah.
just like that. And so what happened to us feels like this incredibly beautiful metaphor for like, oh yeah, that's the thing I was talking about. Look, it's happening like real time.
Yeah.
And after I knew after the workshop, like right after, I think Sage and I were both like so hungry to keep doing something together, but both of us were also kind of respecting each other's space because I knew Sage already had some plans for the year and Sage knew that I was taking a semi-sabbatical. So I could tell we were kind of dancing around it for just a couple of days. And
Yeah.
then we were like, no, 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 but that's it.
It's happening.
That's it. Like just let's stop and here we are. And I know all of us saying you and I saying this sounds like, okay, well, you and I are having this insular experience between the two of us, but I hope that whoever wants to like just plug into this feels
Yeah.
the beauty of that and that this is happening during difficult times, hard times, tired times, crazy
Yeah.
times. Sage and I are not living in a bubble, floating around in some other dimension. We are in it. The dogs are here,
Look,
my cat's doing something over there. We're in it. And because I feel we've there's been like, I don't know, like a surrender, like a
yeah.
free fall, but it's like the most beautiful free fall. I feel like, whoa, look at that other beautiful thing. And oh my God. And Sage is there also pointing stuff out. And she's like, whoa, did you see that?
Yeah. And I think for me, what supported me, which I didn't even know this was an option, was to have this magical experience. But it's that I was open to it. Like when we were tossing ideas around, like, what do we both kind of want to keep doing something in this energy because clearly there's something there, but we don't really know what it's going to look like. Like, I think because I was just open to the idea
Yeah.
of what if I just go with it?
Yeah.
What if I just like not need to know, not
Mhm.
strategize it out of what it could be, but what if I just show up? I show
Mhm.
up and I do this work with MA
Yeah.
and we share it. And like
Mhm.
I that is I think what has allowed me to be in excitement doing
Yeah.
this. And it's I think sometimes when things pop up, I should speak for myself in this moment. When things pop up, I tend to go, well, wait a minute, that wasn't part of the plan. Like, so I have to reject it because I need to stay on the plan because this plan, I've already thought it through. I've got all the pieces. And this time I'm like, well, what if I don't? But what
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
I do a little both and here? It's like, yeah, I got a plan.
Yeah.
I'm in it. But also there's something magical here. And what if I allow that to come in and weave what I am creating already?
Mm. And what I'm feeling right now is, which I've tried to give words to this, and I think something might come out. Um, that you and I also, because we were open and like, okay, let's see, that there's risk involved. There was a lot of risk. I think I'll speak for myself, and maybe you agree, risk of, oh, we have a budding, deepening friendship. What if it gets ruined because we sort of take it in a different direction? Like maybe working together doesn't work. And then, there's that. There's the risk of, oh, what are we committing to? And we didn't give this a container of an end date. We literally said, this year, we're going to explore this and we don't know what it looks like, how long, anything. In my mind, I'm thinking this is a full year situation and I knew in my heart, I'm getting all the chills that when we get to those moments when we're like, you know what, maybe that we both have to go like, no, I
Mhm.
got you, you got me, we got each other. We're just gonna plow through and we'll just keep talking about what this feels like, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Because there will be moments when the initial momentum of a new idea, like
Mhm.
it happens with, you get a new idea and it's like, oh, it feels so thrilling. And then you get to the point where you're like, oh, but then that pushing through that moment. So all of that felt to me like, wow. And feel like I've grown so like in 2 weeks, I cannot even believe.
I know.
I cannot believe. And it's the power of the the like really letting go into the potency of what's happening. And from an energy and astrological perspective, which is also how we grounded our workshop on 111, it's only going to get better.
Mhm.
Like we have not even scratched the surface. It
Yeah.
feels crazy to say. And do you also feel like we've had to give ourselves permission to actually believe that this is actually happening and that it's true?
Yeah.
Because we're both kind of maybe have a cynicism about, oh, well, do you
Me?
know what I mean? Come
Yeah,
on.
I
What
totally.
the other shoe will drop at some point.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it feels very different from most things I've done before.
Yeah, and I think there's so many different beautiful pieces to this creation, right? And I think we spoke into this piece about trusting and being willing to take a risk. And I think so many times I think we hold ourselves back because we want some kind of guarantee of like what's after this or what is this going to create. There's no guarantees ever in anything, period.
Mhm.
But like but we didn't go into that with that mindset. We went in with this like open mind, open heart, open experience, and knowing like we don't know it's the end of
Yeah.
this. But then there's this other piece too about being able to have a relationship with someone where you trust them and you're on the same page with them. And I
Hmm.
think that's what's critical too. I think would this experience work with just anyone? No, right?
Yeah.
Like it takes being on the same page, like being in alignment. And
Hmm.
yeah, and that's part of this too, is like we're
Yeah.
very good communicators with each other. We're very clear on what works, what doesn't work, and
Hmm.
we're aligned in that way. And when you've got that permission with each other, it's so easy to be fluid and
Hmm.
organic and intentional and
Yeah.
messy and all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. And big picture, here we are, 2025, but you and I really started sort of getting to know each other in a more personal way in 2021. And it's been like, we've been like piling on a little bit here and a little bit there. I always had a sense that I felt very, very connected to you, but it's one of those things where you're like, you feel, I felt it. I'll speak for myself. I felt it. And I was like, it felt big and also like, I don't know. I don't know, in practice, time will tell because that's doesn't always have to be reciprocated. And it didn't, it just, I was like, there's something about this woman that I'm just like, I'm in. And damn, here we are.
Here we are. And I think another piece that I'm really excited about with this whatever we're doing. Like I don't know what the name of it is. Like the really cool piece is like sharing it with others
Yeah.
to participate as they want,
Yeah.
whatever works in their lives, but to also allow them to witness the organic creation of something when the
Mm.
seed is dropped,
Yeah.
people are willing to go, I'm going to go on this ride.
Yeah.
And to witness whatever is going to come. Like we really don't none of us know.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing too.
You're watching us bake
Real
the
fun.
cake, like drop the eggs on the floor, fold the
Yeah,
flour in, baking the cake. And for years, it's so just, I used to use this idea of, for a long time, there was this pressure of like, well, you bake the cake behind the scenes and then ta-da, here it is,
right,
right?
right. Yeah,
Here's the frosting, here's everything. It's beautiful. And I always said, there's this beauty about letting people witness you making the cake.
yeah,
And I've been open to that and, pretty much a lot of the aspects of how I've worked, but this is like a whole different, it really feels like the truth of that. There's
yeah,
no the expectation or the pressure or the transaction of like this means this and it's just
yeah. So watch us bake a cake and maybe you want to
so
bake it too.
watch us bake a magical cake. It's a portal cake.
It's a portal cake.
Oh, maybe I'll make a cake on my journal.
I
Um,
love this.
so speaking of,
Okay. Oh yeah, journals.
because right, it's just, oh, we're gonna do this bonus content all about your journal.
Oh, I
Cut
got
to 20 minutes of
excited.
so so again,
Okay.
the journal for us is a big cornerstone of how we're working through stuff this year. And I wanted to say that I wrote this right before getting on with you because I'm having like, my husband was in the hospital till yesterday afternoon. Last night I was exhausted. We're getting into the routine. This morning I woke up like, okay, a little tired. And then I was like, bam, just like men, like, "Brr." I took a nap and it was one of those things where I was like, I know if I tell Sage, you know, this doesn't work today because I suggested the idea. And then I was like, oh, and it took me half a second because I realized, no, I want to be in connection with myself. And this is fuel. This
Yeah.
feeds me. It doesn't feel like a thing I have to do.
No.
It's and I said I want to be in connection with myself. And what a joy that I can do this with this incredible woman and friend and sorceress. And so that is kind of like, and you said that earlier about, I don't know if it was recording or pre-recording, but that idea of um maintaining the connection with yourself.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
journal. Okay.
Journal time.
So Sage, you've had a very fruitful art practice for years, and you're a writer, you're an author, you're, a teacher, you're an artist.
Mhm.
And this year you've started this intentional practice of this, era of the dreamer journal style method, which I've been doing for a while. This year it's definitely taking on it's something else was seated within it, which is just really powerful.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask you to share your first experiences with your journal because you shared some things with me that have been like really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's I'm treating my journal much like I'm treating this experience with you, is
Mm,
that there's no rules and it doesn't have to look a certain way, and I trust it,
yeah.
and I'm committed to showing up for it.
Hmm.
And so for me, I do like the idea of touching it daily. And it's not because it's like this rigid structure that I'm creating for myself, because it's not that at all. It's a personal choice. Because if I show up for this journal every day, it means I'm showing up for myself every day. And that's
Hmm.
what I need. We all use certain things and ways to help us show up. This is my way, is like, even if I just open it and I write one sentence. And so I've been using it for a variety of things, which is really fun. But for me, it's definitely like, I'm just going to look at some of these pages.
Sage, I'm gonna go help Jules with something. I'm gonna allow you to
Okay.
keep sharing the love. Be right back.
All of a sudden, I'm terrified. No, I'm just kidding. So I've been using it as like documentation of how I'm feeling day to day. Sometimes I just write a sentence. Like one time I wrote, um, hold on. Those are my notes. Hold on. I don't know where it is. Okay, I'm just gonna share it because I know what it says. I just can't find it. So I wrote that I don't need to know all the things. And that's so important for me as somebody who really loves structure. I like planning, I like plotting. It supports me and like staying in flow, staying in motion, staying connected to what I want to create. And I also see where it doesn't serve me. And so I'm using this just as like this connection tool, this reminder. So I'm putting in like as I'm painting, I'm working on a big painting right now. And as I'm kind of listening to it and I'm getting messages, I'm using it to log it in my journal. Um, so I want, like, my idea is that at the end of 2025, I have got this beautiful, authentic book that is an accurate reflection of like how I showed up for myself, how I showed up for my creativity practice, how I showed up for my business, how I showed up for all the things. And that's what this is for me. It's like this reflection of me. Um, and I'm not making it like a chore that it's like a to do because then that ruins it. It's like defeating the whole purpose of creating this intimate relationship with myself if I put all of these like parameters on what it needs to look like. So for me, this journal is just a part of my day to day. Like I carry it. Even if I'm not going to use it, like I'll bring it from my office to wherever I go next. And it's just like comes with me. And like, for example, I'm working on the painting that I was just mentioning. I'm doing some custom colors. And so I'm using it to like hold the swatches of my custom colors. I didn't finish writing. I just made this one this morning. It's called Healing Heart. It's like a red wine color. And so I'm just writing like what colors I use to make that color and naming them. I've got Mermaid's Tail, Georgia Clay, and then a Healing Heart. So it's just, yeah, it's almost like a diary, but it's not, right? Because there's art, there's I'm still talking.
I love it. Good.
Like you might want to edit some of that. I don't know. There was some awkward moments.
I was like, what am I missing? I want to listen to it all.
So so yeah, I mean I feel like I shared, oh yeah, my hands. My
Yes.
giving and receiving hands. I love
Hmm.
that. It's one of my favorite things in here. So yeah, it's a relationship.
Yeah.
It's a relationship with me. I love it.
Yeah. I am, let me take my little holder here. I same in terms of the relationship. Um, it's I pick I have the same notebook that I use every time, the same style of notebook. I change the colors depending on how my soul is feeling, what it wants to work towards. And I'm feeling and I'm a very whimsical mood this year, which is, my word of the year. Um, and yeah, it's totally a relationship. I tend to have some sort of contact with it every day at some point. I had it with me the whole time in the hospital. I didn't create anything though in the hospital. I'll share the last thing I did create here. And then one thing I wrote in the hospital. So this was right before we went in. We were there for a week. So, and I wrote this with the intention of continuing to, as all the stickers fall. It's like a piñata, the best kind of piñata. So I was gonna do something here, and then in the hospital I wrote, which I'll share again because this was part of what I shared that got deleted last time
Okay.
that I have to. So this was on January 22nd, and it's just this little bit here. Um, I wrote back in here, days and nights in the hospital, the whole thing now oddly familiar. I'm not in distress. I am well. Tired, yes, but well. I just read a chapter of Sage's book. It was mesmerizing. And this to me captures this is why this is the beauty of this. I didn't have to write every day. I didn't have to like, there's no pressure. I read this and it feels so true for that whole week. And now that I'm processing other things that I've grown into and learned, and I, I can keep on peppering here and there, but that's it. That's it. It stands on its own. I get chills. It feels beautiful. It feels very comforting. And then
Let's see.
so this was Sage's inspiration. Um, we talked about this in the podcast, right?
I
The
can't
last one.
remember what got cut off and what didn't. I
No,
think
no, we did. We ended with this because right after we ended the recording,
that's
we
right.
did
I
this.
remember.
Because we were talking about being like Sage brought this beautiful phrase up. Like, I feel like I'm both feet in. No matter what happens, go listen to that conversation. It was really powerful. Some unexpected things happened that made it even like dialed it up. And afterwards, I was tired. I wanted to go take a nap, but I did this and it was like a little mini tiny ceremony for myself. Just taking out the paints, putting them on a little plate. Painting my feet was so delicious because that feeling of the cool paint in your hands. I think it's also transports us into our childhood when we like, maybe played with paints, hopefully. And then the idea of just putting them on the page and telling myself, yeah, I'm both feet in, and how beautiful they came. I was just, and then I was like, all right, that's it. And I left them to dry and I went on my merry way. So little tiny moments like this. And then I looked at this after when I was back in the hospital, and it felt so grounding and so just like comforting.
Mhm.
Um, which is the other incredible thing about the whole process of really dwelling in this journal and having it be a part of you is that it's for you. It's for you. There's nobody's asking or expecting anything of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it in any way that somebody else, you know, it, it's completely free. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like nobody ever has to see it. People definitely don't have to understand it. Like it's your own language.
Mm-hmm.
It's you, and um I like I'm having fun not making a big deal about what I'm putting in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just like this, I'm definitely getting this message that's in all areas of my life right now about simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's powerful. Like this
Mm-hmm.
less is more piece. And
Yeah.
that's what this feels like not making a big deal about it. Maybe I'm just writing a word. I mean, there was a time I was just putting color in there, just colors,
Mm-hmm.
and it's enough. It's finding your enough.
It's finding your enough. The simplicity is a huge piece. And part of the simplicity for me, at least, in diving into this is that I basically this is the only place where I like share and express all the things.
Mhm.
I used to think, oh, I'll need, this was a few years ago. I want to have a journal for like art and a journal for poetry and a journal for like, oh, dear diary, whatever, and a journal for this other thing. And I, I was like, this is not sustainable. There's just too
Right.
many things going on. I'm not finishing any of them. Why? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. And so anything that has to do with my planning, personal, professional planning, I have on my Google Calendar. I use
Mhm.
my Notes app a lot and like Google Word. When I really want to have a session where I'm like dumping like a lot and feeling a lot,
Mhm.
I'll type it out because I can like process it quicker.
Mhm.
And but there's nothing else except this. And everything goes on here except the to-do lists of life, which
Right.
you know, there's different spaces for that. But you could keep your to-do lists here as well if you wanted to. Again,
Yeah.
you
I
do
could do whatever
you.
you want.
Yeah. It's an incredible space for exploration and to play with different styles of things. Like, if you're feeling a little more sparkling one day and you're feeling a little more gothic the next, then you know what? One page is going to be have sparkles and the next one might be all black.
Yeah,
And it's just it's you. It's you in every form.
for sure.
I'm thinking here, what might be some of the I want to say barriers, like that someone might feel going into this based on our experience and what we've heard from other people and, the years that we've been working with incredible humans.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that might be like a barrier? Like I immediately think of the sort of the perfection piece, like, oh, I don't want to mess up the page.
That's what I was thinking too.
I want to like, have the right pen, I have the right this, I have the right that. I got rid of the whole pen thing a long time ago. I always have a pen on here. This one is a Sharpie S gel pen. These are
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, those are awesome.
But whatever I find is
Yeah.
the right tool.
Yeah,
What
I
is
think
the right pen? The one that's closest to me.
the one that has ink in it.
Yeah, the one that has ink. And if not, I'll grab a pencil and literally whatever. So
Yeah.
that's been really liberating for me.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's definitely this piece about afraiding to mess it up. Like, what if I draw lines, or what if I write and I start going crooked? Or, it's all of those things that keep us from showing up authentically. And
Hmm.
it's like, for me, um, yeah, letting go that it needs to look a certain way, that it needs to be organized. Because I think there's a mindset around, well, I've got to have there's certain things that need to go in here. Just like you were talking about, I have a journal for this and I have a journal for that. And it's like really letting go that this has any job except to hold your dreams,
Hmm.
hold you, hold, like that's its job.
Time out. Time out. Say that again one more time for the people in the back.
Oh, hey,
Oh, hey. Oh, hey, dreamer. Ns,
it's
ns,
only
ns,
job.
ns, ns.
to,
Its
to
only job is to
hold your
hold your
dreams.
dreams.
Yeah. And so nobody knows what that looks like except you.
Yeah.
And it's not being judged, it's not being critiqued. It's like, how liberating to just be messy with yourself.
Mm.
Like, not trying to manage yourself
Hmm.
when you're having a moment like
Yeah.
this. Like, oh, you ruined it, or now I got to erase it. And it's like, that's such exhausting crap.
Yep. Well, after that beautiful quote drop, a couple things have come up for me too. So this, the front page where the this,
Oh, yeah.
I used to agonize over
Yeah.
these pages, you know,
Yeah.
like the name with you know what I'm talking about. No more. No
Yeah.
more.
Oh,
So, and this one here, the second page is from the workshop, which is still
mhm.
available.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can, we'll take you through this beautiful page that Sage
Grounding.
envisioned and everybody did. My point is, this I used to agonize over. No more. I literally wrote here my name and then in parentheses underneath with a cat on top, LOL, because Cosmo happened to be literally on the book while I was attempting to write it. And my like 5 years ago, 4 years ago version of this, maybe five, would have been like, no, 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 I got to find the perfect ink and the perfect thing and the blah, blah, blah.
Ooh,
Another thing, super powerful, it hit me. A couple years ago, did this mini 5 day class thing where I talked about it was all about like finding magic in the mundane. And I talked about sacred sanctuary, which you've also really like the whole idea of your sacred space, your
yeah.
sacred, and I was like, sacred sanctuary.
Mhm.
This, let's say you don't have anywhere else in your house that you can be
Mm.
your own effing magical, whimsical, dark, angry,
Mhm.
delicious. Like this can be the room that you maybe don't feel like you have
Oh my God, that's so good.
in your home. And I remember speaking about this then. I was like, this right here could be the space where I mean, I'm lucky that I have this space. You're lucky you have that space. It's taken time for us to like also
Yeah.
claim a space because that for me was huge to
Yeah.
claim a space, to carve out a space that I felt worthy of inhabiting.
Totally.
I'm getting all the chills now.
I know.
Oh,
I
it's
know.
happening.
I'm like, my heart's feeling
But
all.
this, to
Yeah.
all our like, witches in the closet, to all our artists in the closet, we've been there. Both Sage and I have been there. We
Yeah.
remember. And this can be the most powerful, not just an escape, but how to engage with yourself.
Mm.
You're not escaping life. You are engaging with yourself in a new way. So,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a claiming. I feel we're embarking on a claiming, and
Mm-hmm.
what do we want to claim this year? And I mean, it's all woven together. It's the dreamer in ourselves. What do we want to claim? What do we want to dream? What do we want to step both feet into? Like
Yeah.
there's all of these, it all connects. They're
Mm-hmm.
not compartments of different things. It's all together. But this is your container, this journal.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember that feeling well of thinking, like, oh, what will people think?
Yeah.
Whatever it is that I'm to this, I'm to that, I'm to the other thing, all the classics. And this felt more and more, not even at first, it was still like kind of tiptoeing, but more and more like a complete permission slip to say all the things and be all the things.
Yeah. And I think everybody needs that someday.
Yes. And then that helped me begin to claim my own
Mhm.
physical engagement with my world and become more confident and comfortable about like revealing who I am. And then that's the most liberating thing ever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then the other piece I've been thinking a lot about this week, which I mentioned to you in a WhatsApp message, is that dreams are not just, when we talk about dreams, it's not just goals. It's not just like like you think about, oh, I dream of writing a book, I dream of making this, I dream of taking a trip, but the dream is usually kind of tied to a goal, sort
Mhm.
of, which amazing. But I
Mhm.
think this goes not but, and I know this goes far beyond those dreams that we have of creation of something. Because it's interesting that this year I don't have anything that I'm like, oh, the dream of this, but I am so filled. It's like filling myself with that energy. It's clearing myself from also being judgmental
Mhm.
about the idea of being a dreamer,
Yeah.
the idea of being an optimist, the idea of really embodying that power, respecting the
Mhm.
dreamer in me.
Mm.
That feels huge,
Yeah. Oh,
huge.
sure.
I
Yeah.
had I had have to share this. I had a good friend from Schuyler School that messaged me this week, and you know, she said, "You're amazing. I hope you know exactly how magical you truly are." And I've heard this from a lot of beautiful people, and every time I hear it, it's like, you know the feeling. It's like,
Yeah.
and then I wrote back to her. I said, I do know, and perfect as I am, I feel and respect my magic more and more each day. And I'd never quite had that click of like respect, of like respecting my magic, of respecting myself as a dreamer.
Mhm.
And that idea, because it has nothing to do with like showing it to the world. It has nothing to do with like, let me tell you why. Like we're always over explain. Like we feel like we have to explain because people don't get us.
Yeah.
I'm done with that. But I am gonna respect myself. All right, now it's your turn. I gotta go help my hubby. And go.
And go.
Oh, hey, dreamer.
Okay, dreamer. I'm laughing at this piece about the over explaining because I feel like I'm the queen of over explaining. And it's exactly what MA just said. It's the piece about not feeling understood and not feeling like people get me. I'm weird, I'm out there, whatever the stories are. And so I feel like I'm constantly in this place of like, oh, well, let me over explain the situation or what I'm trying to say. So maybe you might get it. So yeah, I was laughing at that part. When I think of a big dream for myself this year, um I feel a lot like MA does. It's not like this particular thing. There's things that I want to be in creation of. Yes, I'm working on my next book. I'm working on my next painting. I'm working on building my micro farmstead and my apothecary. And like I've got things that I'm in movement with, but there's not like this one big juicy dream. And I recognize the reason is because this is the one big juicy dream. It's me. I am dreaming into me. And that feels so different than anything else I've ever done before, where it was like, but what if I dream into who I get to be and then I can create whatever? But it really, I mean, it starts with us. It's like doing this work so that we could go out and do whatever it is that fills our buckets that we want to create. And so for me, this journal is about being intimate with myself because I'm the dream. Who do I get to be? What pieces of myself are no longer necessary? What pieces of myself support me in getting in my own way? And what pieces of myself are wonderful and I get to keep embodying? And then what are the pieces that I haven't quite stepped both feet into? So that to me is this big dream is me. I'm the big dream. And so it's tending myself and tending who I am and who I get to be, who I'm becoming, who I already am, honoring all of these versions of myself because they all matter and they're all important and they all teamwork life together. Yeah. So that feels really big. And because it feels so big, I think it's extra crucial that I don't put expectations on the journal. I don't set the bar high. Like I go into it and just go, what do I need in this moment with this journal? And maybe being with my journal isn't even about putting something on the page, but it's about taking something away that I wrote previously, like taking it away in my mind, like, oh, I needed to read that. I needed to see that again. I needed to touch that collage. So I think working with the journal isn't always about putting in, putting in, putting in. It's this, it's this win-win giving and receiving, right? Um, which is so funny because that is what that was the intention of this page was I got a big old journal was open hands. So I traced my open hand, not the top of my hand. And one hand is for giving, and the other hand is for receiving. Wow, I'm just now all putting this together real time. Um, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I feel like if I keep talking, I'm just filling in space. There's a cat. Your cat.
The cat. Was the cat podcasting with you?
No, no, the cat
Oh.
just the scene. It was beautiful. I said, well, I guess I'm gonna stop talking because I'm just gonna fill in space now. And then the cat arrived, and then you arrived. I was like, this is great. But I'm not gonna repeat what I said,
Yeah.
but what I want you to hear of what I shared is I'm in alignment with you in the piece about I don't have a big dream. I have these things that I'm in active movement building in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but the way that I'm approaching my journal is I'm the dream.
Mm,
I'm the dream. Me.
yes. That's why it's Era of the Dreamer, because oh my God, yes, I am
I'm
the
the dream.
dream.
I am tending me. Yeah. And, I can't say that I've ever, in my 46 and a half years of existence on this weird planet, I have never put both feet into myself. Never. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is that, I think that's what keeps me on the edge of my seat too, is because I've never chosen myself in this way before.
Mm,
And I'm like, whoa, what am I going to find? What's going to happen? It's
yeah.
like a treasure hunt with myself.
Yeah. And for me, I echo that. And also, there's this piece about timing because I've been personally, I've had this pull of hesitation to embark on new things that I don't know how long they're going to take. Having a lot to do with my experience with my husband, because the fact is that I've been living in this space of grief over the past few years, especially the last year, where I don't know when he will pass. That is just the reality. ALS has a 2 to 5 year life expectancy. in May it'll be 5 years. He has a trach now, which in theory can extend his life.
Mm.
And that doesn't, guarantee it.
Yeah.
All of this to say that I recognize for myself that a big part of last year I spent in sort of this uh holding pattern where I would do little bits but I was always hesitant to sort of embark on something that would really I would just open my arms completely and I wouldn't know. I was like gripping to something else. And this feels like that, which
Mhm.
that idea of just like open arms, just again, the free fall where you're like, oh, and
Okay, let's go.
let's go. And so eh, that feels really beautiful that I'm like in that place because again, I relate that experience, even though that's a more intense version of that experience, but so many times we have these um the classic like, well, I'm not ready because fill in the blank,
Insert the 10 million thing.
insert the 10 million things. And so this idea of even I am the dream, the
Mhm.
claiming of that, the and giving yourself the space for that.
Mhm.
And you know what else is dawning on me?
Tell me.
That you and I aren't seeking anything to prove our existence and our dream self, our dreamer self through this.
Mhm.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, totally.
There isn't a we've said we could do this and not a single person could listen or watch, which we hope many of you come along for the ride because it's more fun. But
Totally.
we could just do this
Mhm.
and I don't need any receipts of like, oh yeah, that worked because
Yeah. Keep going. They like it. It's like,
there's nothing we aren't having to prove
mhm.
anything. We are in absolute curiosity,
Mhm.
which, I know you always love using that phrase, and it's like, it's the way to live.
Yeah.
We're in absolute curiosity. We're in absolute, like, there's nothing, which is the way we should live when we are embracing I am the dream,
Yeah. That's
period, full stop.
yeah.
Because I don't need anything to prove to myself that's who I am.
Yeah. And it,
So,
oh, are you done? Sorry.
yeah,
Oh,
no, I'm done. I'm
you
done.
know,
Yeah,
like
please.
deep in thought of
I
what
was
you were
gonna say
saying.
so.
I was like,
So,
came up for me. But what I am finding
uh-huh.
is because I said it out loud and I claimed it with myself of putting both feet in, I see how being committed to this for
Mm-hmm.
myself is checking me when I'm trying to hold back.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like this like built-in person of saying, but what is this what both feet looks like? No. No, you still got one foot in,
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone, and one foot out. Like it's
Yeah.
beautiful check of like,
Yeah.
no, no. And so I find myself going as this great bringing me back to center of like, is this what both feet in looks like for you? And then I'm like, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful because I am choosing this, right? This might not resonate for someone who's not willing to choose to be
Yeah.
open. It's not gonna it's gonna look totally different, right? I mean, all
Yeah.
of the journeys are gonna look totally different no matter what, but I am choosing to go on this ride. So it doesn't serve me to then not go all in.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna half-ass this experience. Like once I commit to something, I'm like, I'm gonna ride the ride.
Yeah.
When it's scary and I want to get off the ride, I'm gonna white knuckle my belt, my safety belt, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep going because I've never done this before. And if I don't do it now, when am I gonna do it?
Yeah. Yeah. And regardless of the circumstances, I just wrote down, I wrote like, I'm the dream, and I'm going to write all these little phrases that come up around it. And then like, I'll do something else. But like, regardless of the circumstance, if
Yeah.
there was ever a year, friends, that this has to be the mantra, buckle up, buttercup,
Buckle up.
regardless of the circumstance,
Yeah.
period. Because, and that reflects then on your life, because then we're always, we're, we give circumstances the bigger weight and
Yeah,
the control, and
totally.
to
The
step
power.
beyond the grip of the circumstances
Mhm.
is not only like what a way to claim yourself, but liberating ultimately.
Yeah, that's some next level shit.
That is some big next level shit.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta bleep all these for the reels on Instagram, but it doesn't matter.
I've been
How
trying
many times I had to bleep the last one I posted?
beep, beep.
In like 40 seconds, Sage has like three F-bombs, no less than three or four F-bombs, maybe.
What happens when you work in a tattoo shop for 13
This
years?
is it. No, but what this is just it. I don't want it any other way.
Like, I don't think I'm cool. This is just my way.
It's just that tattoo shop.
It's
But
just
this is next level shit.
it's what happens when you're a lady working among a group of men. You have to like hold your own and
Hmm.
can't be run over. And sometimes you harden in certain ways, and that's real life. That's real life. Yeah.
Ah, I feel like you uncorked something there. That was delicious.
Oh man, it's and as much as there's an unknown on this journey, like I'm really finding it to be way more exciting than scary. I don't think I've been afraid at all.
No, not once.
Not once.
Not once.
Uncomfortable, sure,
Yeah.
but not afraid or worry or none of those feelings. I think more than anything, I'm so excited to witness myself
Mm.
like become whoever, like whatever that looks like it's so exciting to go, it's like there's got to be some scientific formula that you make all these changes, you're going to get different results, like
Hmm.
it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. And here's the other thing that could keep us like psychologically away from taking a risk in a certain direction, like jumping in like we're doing, is that your soul knows. You know, and there is the scientific thing too. There must be, but your soul knows that when you embark on something, that you will be different on the other side of it. Through it, not like there's another side, but through it, you will be changed. And we are fearful of change. Let's not
Mhm.
be fearful of change anymore. Let's just like,
It's gonna
go
happen
for it. But
no
so
matter what.
then, so then you can recoil back because you know that you're doing something that's so powerful.
Mhm.
And because for us, and I hope more people can take this to heart, especially if you want to see it as like this year as we work with these energies and hard things are happening out there, to
Totally.
stay in that joy and that dream energy, that like, just that movement is going to feel uncomfortable,
Mhm.
and it's going to feel like this sort of radical take on things. And it doesn't mean you have to be less, what's another word for serious? Serious about the things happening? Is that the word I'm looking for? Like the things that are happening deserve our attention.
Yeah.
They're not to I'm there it's not about downplaying that. It has nothing to do with that. To me is like irrelevant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I do. I'm trying to think of
Like
like,
the things that are happening, I think as a community deserve and require our attention.
yes.
Fellow humans supporting other fellow humans in a variety of ways,
Yes.
and showing up for each other and being engaged with life and what's happening. And also, it is going to be the biggest test of what does it look like to stay in my to carve out joy
Mm.
and to really stay in that place, not just moments of joy, but like, you know,
And
the inner frequency of joy.
yeah. And I think so many people just need permission that, like, it's okay. You're not a bad person if you create joy in your life while there's also really terrible shit going on.
Yes.
Like,
Amen.
because I don't know if we all know, but there's always terrible shit going on
All the time, all
all
over,
over
everywhere.
the world. Like,
Yeah.
and so this piece that we're not allowed to live because things are terrible for someone else, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's the answer.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like all about, let's be organized and active in making a difference in this
Mm-hmm.
world, and to help people who are having terrible things happen to. There's so many situations
I know it's like
like all the people in different
take
situations. Like, how do I
take
summarize?
yes.
Because it's not one group. There's
Yeah.
so many groups being attacked, right? But
Mm-hmm.
like, not living and not being at peace and not feeling joy is not helping those people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, punishing yourself is not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just seeing so much of it right
Yeah.
now. And
And it could my it is probably more of an excuse. It's another reason
mhm,
to to put the sort of the spotlight away from you
yeah,
again. And no, there's a huge reason now because
how
and
could I?
I've had this stand for so long and it sometimes feels weird to say because again, I'm like I don't want to make people I don't want to disrespect people's experiences. That's something I'm totally healing through, which this year is going to be huge for that. Um, this idea that all the more reason if you are able, if you have the means in terms of you have the space, you have the capacity, you have it, all the more reason that should be a driver to create, to participate more in life, to find your community, to
Yeah,
gather with people and say, "Hey, I really feel like doing something here. What can we do?" Because there's so many ways to help. There's so many ways to help, big and small.
yeah,
From gathering physical goods to gathering, $5 from all of your friends to give to somebody in need, from like, there's many, many ways to, regardless of your socioeconomic status, honestly,
yeah, agreed.
there's people that need tending, lend an ear, make a meal. Like, just we could go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah,
But sitting there, just like blaming all these circumstances for the reason why I can't XYZ is
yeah,
disrespectful to me.
for sure. Um, and I don't
Except
know.
unless it's like when it's happening, like you know what I mean. It's like happening to you. Okay, there's a
Right,
different kind of way to treat that. I'm talking about I'm just witnessing on the news
right.
and I'm
Yeah,
hearing about it, but I'm here at home and I'm like, oh no, but I can't possibly like X, blah, 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 blah. That's just to clarify. Yes, my
yeah.
love. My little one trying to do a math problem. What is it, baby? Can I do it after? Yeah, I'll help you after. We'll finish it after. I love you, baby. You're so good. You're so smart. So, I know. Second grader.
Such a good age.
Such a good age.
I
Yeah.
love that age.
Yeah. It's a fantastic age. It really
It
is.
is. It's super fun.
It
Um,
is.
I wish we could understand that we don't have to choose joy or committed action.
Mm,
Like, we can take care of ourselves, whatever that looks like. We can be an ally, whatever that looks like. We can work on the things that bring us joy. I don't know why. Who
yeah.
taught us? Who told us we only had to pick one?
Damn. Yeah.
And we listened for so long, and people are still listening, and it's like, that's not truth. We are like
Yeah.
multiple ability people. We can hold multiple things. I hold grief and joy every freaking day.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Amen.
I don't have to, I'm not just going to choose one or the other. I feel like I could do a whole 3 hour
Oh,
episode.
and we will. And we will. Chicka,
Like,
chicka,
reining
chick, chick,
myself in.
chick, chick, chick. This is what happens when Sage and I are like, we'll just talk for like 20 minutes,
Yeah,
20 minutes tops, and here we are.
24 hours.
Um, yeah, this is big and it's the conversation to have right now. It's like the conversation.
Yes.
because like we are that should be eradicated.
Yes.
It's hurting us like individually if that's the situation, and it's hurting us all collectively,
Yeah.
and I feel like now because things are so like okay, zoom into the United States where we live, things have gotten so tight and really challenging and intense, then you're like, it almost again bubbles up a new excuse and a reason to sort of wait it out, which is a which is parallel to all the other things that I'm just going to wait it out
Mhm.
in many different ways, big ones and small ones. And what is that waited out? And you were saying who taught us this? And what came to mind is I want to dive into that deeper myself and we can totally dive in together. What I thought too is like because most people are in this pessimistic, like, that we we constrict those parts of us that are inherently joyful because people may not understand from the outside
Mhm.
how you can hold both things.
Yeah.
I found this to be my experience, especially at the beginning of Jules being diagnosed with ALS, that it was almost like people looked at me like quizzically, like, wait, but shouldn't you act like the world is falling apart? And I'm like, yeah, my world did fall apart. And I cry 80% of the time right now.
Right.
I, and, and also I was just like, but whatever comes through is just real. I wasn't dialing down or dialing up any part of me. And that exploration of, oh, who am I really? And really observing how other people sort of interacted, kind of confused. Like, how are you not a complete mess? And I'm like, well, yeah. And that felt like a huge exploration in that. So I would also like take sort of that idea and bring it up for all of us this year as we start this year and what's coming, all the changes that are coming, all the ways that our life is going to change dramatically, and to also audaciously look for the ways, all the things that can absolutely will improve through our own shifting of the perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like things fall apart, the circumstances look like they're falling apart, but the growth inside is like there's nothing like hardship to rocket you into a whole other dimension of growth and freedom and respect for yourself and respect for your joy.
I mean, if I threw the towel in every time things blew up, I would be so miserable. Like if I just gave up, I would never be living.
Mm-mm.
Not like being an active participant of my life. I mean, I know so many people go through so many hardships. And I mean, it's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I never wanted to throw the towel in, no matter
Mm-mm.
what I've experienced in my life. Like, I've never wanted to give up in the
Mm-mm.
sense of like not be joyful. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, I've always maybe it's a trauma response that I've been someone who's like, oh, okay, everything is total chaos. So how do we move through this?
Mm-hmm.
And then I figure it out and I keep going and things get better. And I don't know. I just can't imagine just going, nah, screw it. Like, there's no point
Mm-hmm.
in anything. I'm not going to be creative. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do anything. I'm not going to order a pizza because I shouldn't spend $10. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just shutting down
Absolutely. Absolutely.
sliver of joy. Like,
Yes. Yes.
I just, and also, I have children.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about like, they're watching me.
Mm-hmm.
Children are always watching
Mm-hmm.
their people.
Mm-hmm.
I want
Mm-hmm.
them to have hope and joy and love and possibility. And if I shut down, who's helping them with that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many factors, and this is all complicated. None of us have a manual or a guidebook.
Mm-mm. Nope.
I don't think
I
that
thought you had a manual.
I
Didn't
do.
you get one in the mail?
I do.
Oh.
I
Oh, hey, dreamer.
but he got the manual.
I'm writing my own manual as I go.
I just don't believe any of us were put here for to just hate everything.
Dude, right. Yeah.
I just,
What the heck?
yeah. I again, I don't, yeah, I'm just figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
But but
Yep.
I can
Yep.
laugh
Yep.
and I can cry in the same day. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just,
Hmm.
so I think and I'm glad we spoke into it because I think right now, especially in the US, a lot of folks might be feeling guilty about
Mm.
being joyful, being creative,
Mm-hmm.
and we get to park that because I think what this world needs is some light
Mm-hmm.
in the darkness. And if we all
Mm-hmm.
put the lights off, this mother effer goes black. You
Yep.
know, and
Yep.
that's serving anybody. And so, yeah, some of us got to keep the lights on.
Yep. That's us, dreamers.
Yeah, dreamers.
Yeah, dreamers. Come on.
Good job, dreamer. We're like, no pressure. Come
Oh,
on,
no pressure. Let's go. Let's do it. You finished it already?
dreamer.
Awesome.
I figured it out.
Okay. I'll be there in a second.
So sweet.
Well, dreamer,
Okay,
shall
dreamer.
we park this shall we
Yeah.
park this pod?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Um, so what are you going to write in your journal? I'm just saying to the masses. To the masses.
Uh,
All the masses.
all the people.
All seven of you out there watching this. But you're powerful seven, so respect your joy. Um, yeah, like go and get juicy.
Get juicy with it
Get juicy with it.
and let us know if you
I
listen.
feel like you have one more thing you want to say. I see it in your eyeballs.
No, I'm just being
No,
silly now. Now I've got my silly energy all fired up.
I love it.
I really do love the idea of possibility. And I hope that there's a nugget in here for you, dear listener, of possibility. That's my hope and wish
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
my
Yes.
little nugget.
A little nugget. Our nuggets. All right, friends. Well, if you want to catch the other podcast that we did that we dropped on Thursday, we'll leave the links below. Join our Instagram. We also have another little spot in the interwebs where we'll be putting some little downloads and goodies here and there, all little gifts that we gather along the way, like crows. Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh, heart. Oh, child.
next
Oh, heart.
next
Like
episode.
crows, right? Little shiny objects that we're just going to collect and put there.
Okay.
Oh my God. Shout out to Albert.
What's up, Albert?
What's up, Albert? Into the Ancestral Garden is available now.
Yes,
We'll
it
leave
is.
a link for that as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, this book is fantastic, beautiful, not just because she's my friend, but because I've been reading it while in the hospital and it was like, felt like a cozy, safe, magical space to land. So, highly recommend. And yeah,
Take good care of yourselves,
take good care of
humans.
yourself. Yes. I'll also plug, I have another podcast called The Caregiver Spirit, which might have some gems for you as well along those lines of caring for yourself. So,
Sure.
all our love. We'll be back. Thank you for listening and watching.
Mhm.
Bye.